Yes, I have bought the cheapest Ducati 848 in the UK and possibly in the world. This is a 2008 model and it's in pretty nice condition mostly. It has one major issue which I'll talk about. What a great bike. So I bought this on eBay. A really nice guy dropped it off to me. It is a beautiful bike. Trellis frame, Marchesini wheels, Brembo brakes, Showa shocks. It's got some really tasty parts on it. It's got some carbon, it's got an aftermarket seat there, a nice tail tidy, very nice bike. There's the clocks in nice condition, one original key. Tank is pretty nice. There's some damage around the place, so this mirror is broken. The fairing is cracked a little bit there. And there's a bit of very minor cosmetic damage to the headlight. But there's a carbon front mudguard. Front wheel is nice. Fairings are pretty nice. So this is going to be a fantastic project bike for me. I've got a plan for it. It's a bit convoluted, but let me talk you through what I have in mind for this bike. So all of this is the parts that came with the bike. These were stripped down by the Ducati workshop where the previous owner took the bike. And there's loads of nice parts here. So for example, this is one of these cylinder heads and everything looks fine. There's no reason why this wouldn't work. So these are sellable parts and these are quite expensive. Same with these cylinders and pistons. They're not new, but they are in pretty good condition, definitely sellable. These covers are magnesium, they are sellable as well. The crankshaft is the reason this engine failed. So this is the conrod and it should have a bearing in there. It should have a metal part like this one here. You can see it's got a shell in there, or a bearing it's called. This one did not have a bearing and I think it has been run without a bearing where the bearing failed and then it's worn down this crankshaft. So this would need to be refurbished. And I called up a Ducati workshop this morning. They said yes, you can recondition it, but it's £500, and then you would also need to buy a new conrod, and they only come in pairs and cost £700. So that's a lot of money to get started. And the guy also said it would be £1,500 in labour to rebuild all of this lot plus parts. So all in all, you could be looking at like £3,500 to rebuild the engine, which is not something I want to go ahead with. So plan is I'm going to sell all of these parts on eBay, so I think I can get like 300 each for these two, maybe 200 for the pair of those, 80 quid for this, maybe 150 spares repair, 100 quid, I don't know. There's some money here for sure, like 80 quid I think, 80, obviously that's asking prices, so you might end up getting less when you actually sell the stuff, but I reckon just on this table here there's probably 800 quid in asking prices. Then these are Towignoni exhausts. They are nice. I've seen them selling for 500. So these are carbon aftermarket exhausts. They are pretty nice and quite good condition as well. So I'm going to say 500 for them, and then let's just be generous to myself and say 500 for this if I sell it, because there is one advertised for 500 quid. So in the best case scenario, I could get back 5, and let's call it 800 quid for this lot, and I paid 1,800 for this bike. So that is the plan, is to try and get some money back in the door, and if I can essentially own all of this for free, that's going to be a really good situation, because then I can put something else in here. So I've got some ideas. I kind of want to do like a 2-stroke special build or something crazy, maybe a single 660cc, even like a KTM SMC engine, something really crazy to make this into a sick track bike. So that is the plan. I don't know how it's going to work out. Worst case scenario, I'll just break the bike, but I really don't want to. But I definitely don't want to make it a Ducati, because there's loads of 848s out there, and rebuilding it as it was is just not my cup of tea for this one. I want to build it into something really special. And this bike is so light. I'm just going to try and lift it up a bit. You can see, like, I can lift the whole thing off the floor just with one arm while I'm filming. So if I can put a 2-stroke engine in there, like a I don't know, a 50 horsepower, 60 horsepower 2-stroke engine in this chassis, it would just be nuts. So that's what I'm going to go for. There's also some other bits I can sell on the bike, so if I'm not making it a Ducati, I can sell the lock set with the clocks. They're pretty nice, about 18,000 miles, so they're probably about 400 quid as well. I could then sell the left switch gear. There's one for sale on eBay for about 100 quid, so that's nice. Master cylinder there, could sell that. And a few other bits, like the wiring loom is still on the bike, so that's got to be, I don't know, 60 quid. And anything like Ducati specific I'm going to sell, and then hopefully I'll be left with a rolling chassis that I can get to work on. Right, so enough rambling from me. I'm going to take a load of parts off this bike and just see what I've got and see what I can sell. The name of the game now is to take off anything that is Ducati specific for the drivetrain, so that when I rebuild the bike there's nothing on there that's in the way. I'm going to basically use a completely new system. If I rebuild this as a track bike, I will use like a completely different wiring loom, engine, everything. So that frees me up to sell everything that is Ducati, like the wiring loom. So I'm just going to take stuff off, strip the bike down a bit, and then see how things turn out. I'm removing this lock set, and the Italians have got this mechanism here where they tighten it on using this nut, so that when you try to, so now it's, let's say it's on, when you try to undo it, it just turns this top part and it leaves that bit behind. The way to get around that is to get two nuts like this and use a pair of these 10mm spanners and hold. So tighten the bottom one first onto it, onto the part, then hold that one with a 10mm spanner, tighten another one onto it super hard, and then you should be able to grab onto the bottom one and then turn the whole thing out. And that's how you can get around the lock nut thingies from the Italians. So that's that one coming out, and I'll pull the other one out. I should have checked the clocks, but these are going to be quite low mileage, nice clocks. So there's that bolt out. I'll get the other one out now and then pull that lock set off. Time to take off this front. The headlight is off, and as expected, it's definitely seen better days. There's a broken point there, and it's held together with cable ties, and all in all, not the best unit. So one way or another, that is not going back on the bike. And I'm just going to strip down this last bit. This is also broken, which is a shame because I need that piece. So there's aluminium that goes there, which has fallen on the floor. I'm pretty sure it was not me, it was in an accident. I might be able to sort of repair it, but I would imagine these are not too expensive to buy in track form, which is what I need anyway. So I'll continue and just finish up this wiring and then see where we land. I have really enjoyed working on this Ducati. I took off all of the fairings and stripped it right back to a bare frame. with the wheels and stuff still attached, and then I've rebuilt it and I've put all of the parts back on that you see, and I'll leave this alone now to be used in a future build as a custom racing bike or track bike. So a few of the parts I decided to leave I'll talk through. Obviously the petrol tank, the race fairings, the seat to sit on, the wheels, you need those, right? But the headlight I was going to remove, but I decided to keep it on, and the reason is if I take it away, there are these big headlight shaped holes in the front fairing there, and I figured if I was to make it a track bike, I'd want to fiberglass up these holes, and so to do that it would be much easier to work from the headlight, use plaster of Paris to get a moulding so that I could figure out exactly the right shape, and then fiberglass from the inside to get the exact kind of diameter and so on. So the headlight I've left, and then moving up here, the clocks and the lock set I've left as well. So this lock set has a chipped key, and it's chipped to the clocks and the ECU, which I've also kept. And to find a matching set which work together is just unbelievably difficult. They're about 500 quid on eBay if you can find them, but then there's the risk that they don't work or whatever. This set definitely worked, so I've decided just to keep it with the bike, just in case I do decide to rebuild it as a Ducati, then it's got the correct mileage history for this frame, and it'll be correct. And super hard to find the key in the set. Other bits that I've left are the tail ends of things and the fairings and so on. I'll show you how cool this bike is just by sitting on it. It just fits my measurements so well. So as a racing bike, this would be absolutely insane. Like, I would love to rip this thing around Brands Hatch or one of the racing tracks in the UK, but I need an engine to do that. So my plan is to go out there, find a complete bike and then strip it for spares, use the engine, wiring loom, all the electrics, exhaust, all the stuff that I can use to go into this chassis. I don't know what that bike is. If you've got any ideas, if you've done this sort of thing before, let me know, like what would fit. I think maybe a KTM 690 is kind of where I'm headed with it. A single cylinder, 700cc, 60 odd horsepower engine would be absolutely nuts in this lightweight chassis. I think the bike would probably weigh like 140 kilos, so it would be so fun around a track. It'd be dangerous, I guess, because every time you twisted the throttle it'd want to do supermoto kind of sliding and stuff. But anyway, that's for another day. For now, thanks for watching my video. I've enjoyed working on this bike. I hope you have too. You've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, press like and subscribe as well, and I'll see you on the next video coming up soon. See you.